There we go. All right, so I'm Jonathan Weber, and I'll be your teacher today. And this is Rachel Vogel. Say hi to Dr. Strickland.
Hi.
All right. So the first thing we're going to be going over is the posture and your stance. So when we play percussion, we want our feet to be about shoulder width. So what we learned in conducting class was jumping. And then where your feet land, that's where they should be. So go ahead and jump. There you go.
Okay.
So that's what your feet are supposed to be. When we are playing, we want the stand or the instrument to be at the proper height. And for me, that's about waist height. So you're about my size, but you're a little bit taller. So for me, this is about right. This is my waist.
Okay.
For you, let's see here.
Might be it.
Well, this is a little bit lower than waist. I'm sorry. So a little bit higher up. Yeah. And the way we know that for sure will be the next test, which will be the elbows in front of body. So when you're playing, when I put sticks in your hands here in a minute, you're going to want to have your elbow, both of your elbows of your arms, to be just about in your body. Just about there. Could be a little bit farther out.
Like that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Is that weird?
No,
I wonder if I can explain that better. Just a little bit forward. Not too much so that you look...
Oh, like out here?
Not too much. Yeah, just a little bit out.
Okay.
So, and then when you hold the sticks, so go ahead and pick up the sticks. And of course I haven't told you how to hold them, but just when you're holding them, they should be naturally in your hand about an inch above. So that actually looks like the stand might be too high for that. So let's try it a little bit lower. That might be just a hair low. So let's try it at that. Well, now it looks a little too high. Alright, let's just leave it there and call it good.
Okay.
Alright, so next we're going to be learning about the actual grip, holding the stick. So the first thing is you want to find the fulcrum of the stick. Like levers?
Mm-hmm.
What a lot of people say is about a third of the stick, but a really easy way, of course, is finding the fulcrum, and that's by letting the tip, hit, moving your fingers, and see where you get the most bounce, the most rebound. So that's pretty good. Move it around a little bit. If you're too high, obviously you can't get it. If you're too low, you won't get anything at all. See?
Oops.
So you want about a third of the way up the stick. Or maybe not even half an inch out.
So kind of right there?
Sure.
Okay.
And the same thing for the other stick, which that's just mirroring the grip.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So that's finding the fulcrum, which is what you always want to do first. Keeping the thumbprint on the stick. You always want your thumb to be completely on the stick.
Okay.
Not this. Not this. Your thumbprint on the stick. Like you're trying to scan it, and it's a top secret weapon.
Okay.
You want it to be on the side, like this, and that will, of course, make sure that your palms are face up. If you ever start playing like this, that's not good. You want your palms to be face up so that you can have a quarter on them, and it won't drop. Go ahead and give it a few hits. Cool. What's next? Trying to keep all fingers on the stick. So that comes down to keeping these 3 fingers on the stick at all times. One thing that you want to avoid when you're doing this is having it slip into the channel and playing like that. That is not something that you want to do.
That's not it?
That.
Oh, I don't want that to happen.
Mm-hmm. You want it to be on the fatty part of your hand. Like that. And at almost all times, you want your fingers to be in contact. All 4 fingers and a thumb.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Just talked about that. And when you're about to play, so again, yeah, very good. You want, on a normal snare drum, you're going to play just off of the head, just off of the middle. That's where it gives the most good sound. So let's not try to play straight in the middle, just a little bit off in any direction. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That's not a huge thing though. That would come later in time. So you always want them to be a little bit apart. Just like that.
Just like that?
Yeah, no problem. And the last thing is what's called a ladybug grip. And that is, meant to do that, when you're holding the sticks, of course, with your thumb and finger.
Okay.
You of course want, like just like I said, that. But it looks like your first fingers might be curling around a little bit too much. You want it to be, the thumb to be the opposite of, yeah, just like that. There you go. And the same for the other finger.
So kind of like in the first bend of my finger.
Exactly. And then when you play, you want it to be very, very relaxed. Yeah, don't quote me on that. You want it to be relaxed. Again, the ladybug grip idea is that whenever you play, you never squeeze so hard that you're killing a ladybug in your finger. You play as though you have a ladybug.
Okay.
That's where it gets its name. So doing this and tightening up is not what we want. We want a nice, relaxed. And that's hard to do, especially when you're doing really fast stuff, which makes percussion all the more technical. Because you do play fast a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Does that make sense?
Yes.
We're going to try to stay relaxed in all that we do. And now we're going on to the actual strokes. That was just stance and how to hold yourself. Next, we're going to think of, let's go ahead and put our sticks down real quick.
Okay.
As we play, put our hands up, we want a kind of bouncing of a ball idea. You want a rebound. Bounce, 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 bounce. Okay. Is that weird? Bounce, bounce. Yeah, you can go ahead and move your wrists. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Just like you're bouncing a basketball, or a volleyball, or a big beach ball.
Okay.
Cool? That's going to be a lot of what the stroke is. You don't want arm movement. It really comes down to a lot of wrist and fingers. A lot of fingers. So none of this. More of
Okay.
this. Cool?
Yes.
Let's go ahead and pick up our sticks again. Can't quite make up my mind. And let's put in, yep. Very good. Fulcrum. And now I want you to play in the air. So bouncing ball idea. Bounce, 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 bounce. And don't be afraid.
Try not to squish the ladybug.
Try not to squish the ladybug. What we learned in conducting, believe it or not, kind of rolls over into this. When you're getting better at it, there should be a little bit more finger use. Again, fingers should never leave. There you go, you're getting the idea. Kind of hit. It's not quite hitting the fat part, but is that weird?
A little, yeah.
Yeah. That's going to be where a lot of your fast technique comes from. Because you can only do this so fast. Then it starts getting into fingers. Is that weird?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. Because you don't get into that till later. I just wanted to get you used to the idea. And that's airplaying. And we might do that a little bit more later.
Okay.
But for right now, let's move on to the idea of staccato versus legato playing in percussion. So, let's see here. Which do you think I'd be doing right here? Staccato or legato? What do you think? Is that all right? So let me compare that to this one. Which one do you think is staccato? Or
the first one.
first one's staccato. Yeah, because that's a little bit more rigid. It's hitting and stopping and hitting and stopping and hitting and stopping. As compared to legato playing, where it's just kind of a overall keep moving kind of idea. So that's really what we want to do. But I'm going to start you off a little bit with a weird staccato idea, in that I want you to take your right hand, at least at first, and play hit it. Cool. Yeah. So another thing I'm going to tell you is what we're going to use is a full wrist break. And that sounds a lot scarier than what it is. It just means that we're starting up. Yeah, a vertical angle, coming down. And that's what we want to do. Other hand. This is called cloning. Same thing with both hands. All the way up, you're not quite getting there. There you go. And that's why we're going to start. And then eventually, we'll get you down to doing that. Good. Now start using the full wrist break. Back up. Good. This is what you want to do at a forte, with loud stuff. And then, of course, at the piano, you want to stay really close to the drum. Is that weird?
A little bit.
All right. So I might have skipped a few steps. There might have been some skipping going on. Right. That's what came to the next part, is the stick height, what you normally play at. So normally down here, we keep it at an inch. Right? It's about an inch. And that comes back to the staccato playing, like I was saying. It's hard, isn't it? Good job. No, yeah, you're getting it.
Dang it.
I know. You're conscious about it, and that's what's good about it. You know something's just a little bit off. But we don't even have to worry about that. Because, again, that comes later. What I care about is you using all of your wrist. Cool?
So I'm supposed to...
You want to get the most...
My hands are supposed to be
Yes.
completely flat like that?
Not to the point where it hurts. You can bend it a
No, I
little
mean, it
bit.
doesn't hurt. It's
Yeah.
just, it's kind of weird.
A little awkward? Yeah.
So
So,
am I supposed to... like that?
So-
Or like... I don't know.
yeah, okay, so what you're wanting to do is that. So, all right, I see what you mean.
Like that?
That's it, yeah. And again, this comes back to the fingers. You can't get all the way, can you? And that's where the fingers come into play.
Okay.
So it looks like you might be squishing the ladybug. No?
No,
No.
not really.
So when you go up, your fingers go out a little bit. That's the full stick. And just getting that to be faster.
So it doesn't have to be like that.
No.
Flat, like, it
Yes,
just
there you
flat
go.
enough. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And that comes down all the way around to what's called rebounding, which is what we were talking about with the bouncing of the ball. The ball rebounds and comes back up to your hand, which is what we want to get out of this. Up. It naturally rebounds just a little bit. So go ahead and be relaxed. Now we want to use that to our advantage. So give it a little bit more oomph. Give it a little bit. Now you're getting there. Yep. Give it a little bit more oomph. Yeah, there we go. Now we're getting it. Exactly. Now do it with the left hand. Oh, sorry, you were left-handed. Do it right hand. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting, working with the left-handed person. It's all right.
I have no idea if I'm doing that right.
I understand. Let's do it with both hands. Let's do it with both hands. Stick break, wrist break. Very good. Now you just need to work on getting it smoother. It looks like you're just a little bit jerky. Very good. Very good. That's great. Yeah. That's the beginning lessons. And now we're going to go on to actually seeing some music. So this is what we warm up to as percussionists. While wind users, while people who blow into their instruments, is that a good way of saying it? They, of course, warm up with scales. They warm up with etudes. We'd warm up with something like this. So the R's, of course, represent the right hand. The L's represent left hand. And it's interesting because you're left-handed. So your left hand will be dominant. So the first exercise might be weird for you. So we're just going to set a tempo. And let me go ahead and pick up my handy-dandy phone, which already has a tempo in it. Right here. That might be too fast. That might be too slow. Right in the middle. So we're going to play exactly what it says there.
Okay.
Want to give it a try?
Sure.
So right. So with the beat.
Okay, are you wanting me to go like all the way up here?
Yes, full stick height. Do you think that's too much? So get it internalized. Tap, 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 tap. Right, right. Here we go. Right, 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 right. Here we change left. Very good. It looks like you're you went a little bit into this.
Oh, dang it.
I know. I had a lot of trouble with that myself. So let's try it again with rights. 1, 2, here we go, and up, up, wrist. There you go. And now we change left, keep the palm flat. Up. There it is. All right. And this time we're going to go on. Let's see here. Right, 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 right. Left, 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 left. And we'll go straight into the right, right, left, left.
Okay.
Okay? So, 1, 2, here we go. And right, 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 left, 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 left. All right. So that was good. And let me turn that off real quick. Cool. That's our warm-up. And then, of course, we keep going, and it goes on to the next page, in fact. But we don't have to worry about all that. Right here. These interesting little guys, the stickings themselves, are techniques used in percussion, known as paradiddles. And they get that name from having what's called a diddle in them. A diddle meaning the same sticking twice. Diddle, 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 diddle. A para meaning pair, diddle. Pair, diddle. That's how I always remember them, because there's other more complicated ones. But the second you say diddle, 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 diddle. So the first one, we're going to do a paradiddle off our right hand, meaning we're going to do right, left, right, right. Okay. So you give it a try. Dut, dut, here we go. Right, right. There, that's very good. Now we're going to do it off the left hand. Your dominant hand.
Yay.
So how would that go?
Left, right, left, left.
Exactly. So we're going to do left, right, left, left. So 1, 2, here we go. Left, right, left, left. Yep. Next, after that, comes what's called a double paradiddle. And that is the same thing, except with an extra para, which is weird. So what I think when I hear double paradiddle, double paradiddle. Again, it just comes down to the diddle's the only one repeated.
Okay.
It's just like a normal paradiddle, but with an extra para. Para, paradiddle. Double paradiddle.
Okay.
Anything weird? Good? Yes?
I get it.
Alright, so let's try a double paradiddle off our right hand.
Okay.
So again, when it comes to diddle, you double it. Nothing beforehand.
Okay.
So right hand. So 1, 2, double paradiddle. Perfect.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. So, what's a double paradiddle on the left hand? Saying it.
Left, right, left, right, left, left.
Perfect. Let's do it. Ready? Left hand, go. Left, right, left, right. Exactly. Nothing too hard, right?
No.
And then we have the triple, which you could guess is like the double.
Right.
Perfect. Or with left hand. And then you come to the paradiddle diddle. If you just had to not look at that and guess, what would the sticking be? So I'll say the name again. A paradiddle diddle.
So,
Give us an example.
left, right,
Sorry.
left, right, left, right, right.
Perfect. Exactly. You got this. This is percussion lingo 101. So let's try a paradiddle diddle off the right hand. Crazy? Ah. Ready, go. Right, left. Great. There you go. And left-handed, looking at me.
Oh.
So, ready, go. Perfect.
Awesome.
And then it just comes down to being able to get that a lot faster. Is that cool?
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
What do we got here? 20 minutes. I think that is sufficient time. What do you think?
All right. Sounds good.
So, I'm going to leave you with homework for when we might do this later. I don't know. Homework that you can obviously not do because I have all the stuff. But the idea is that we'd be going on to the next stuff, as well as practicing our fundamentals. And that's getting into stance, ladybug, making sure that the stick goes through the fat part of the hand, thumbprints, right?
Yes. Something.
Tell me something that we have to do with our wrists.
Hold them mostly flat. You gotta use the wrist
Exactly.
instead of the elbow.
Perfect. Now, how high do we want it?
When? Like.
Yes. Just the normal stuff that we were doing then.
Well, when we hit it, we wanted to go back up here.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
You're getting the idea.
All right.
All right. And that was our lesson. Besides
Awesome.
homework, which I'll say off camera. All right. Thank you.